Okay. Good morning and welcome to Ag Talk and Raw. I have hooked up my headset, so I should be able to, well, at least the microphone should be working quite well. I'm hoping anyway. So, what I've got here is a whole bunch of questions. There's 157 questions, and I'm going to answer those. But first, I'd like to say that if you're watching my videos, or these videos on this channel, I just answer the questions that are asked of me with the knowledge that I have. And I've caught some flack, which I really don't care. I mean, just like I've said in every video, that this is my opinions. This is what I've seen in my life. I'm 45 years old, so I think I've been around the block a few times. If I was 65 years old, I'd have 20 more years experience, but I don't. What I do have experience in a lot of different fields, from milking cows to raising rabbits and chickens and pigs and everything else. Hogs, cattle, beef cows, corn, soybeans, corn, soybeans, wheat, barley, rye, alfalfa, clover, timothy, orchard grass, reed canary grass, and all those other things. So I can touch on all those subjects. Now, there was a question was asked of me what I thought about robotic milkers, and Hitchton Farms actually took to the Instagram page saying that what I said was false. Yes and no, I guess. I don't think robots will pay for themselves, to be quite honest with you. Do I think that they're better than a parlor? Yeah. No, do I think they're better than a parlor? Yeah, I do. I think they're cleaner than a human being could be because they're programmed to be the cleanest and most efficient as they can be. When your computer goes down, it costs you millions of dollars, though. I'm exaggerating, millions of dollars, but it's a lot of money. And your cows don't get milked. If you've got 130 cows, you've got two robots. Um, those two robots will work simultaneously together to milk those 130 cows. If I'm correct, a robot costs about $250,000 each. I may or may not be correct in today's markets, but I will honestly say that $12 milk is not going to pay for those robots. And I don't know how these guys are doing it here in the United States. Maybe over in Europe, there's different standards and premium quality payments and things like that. But here in the United States, dairy farmers are in dire straits. I mean, it's like putting your balls in a vise and slowly clamping it until they're pinched off. That's about what it's like being a dairy farmer. I'm sorry. Sold the cows in 2011. I really wasn't milking the cows in 2011. I had walked out of that barn a couple of years prior to that, only fed and gave hay. I don't care to milk animals that aren't going to pay me, and we were milking with six milkers, stanchion barn, antiquated. It was they were looking at manure management other than a manure spreader daily. We were supposed to put in containment and abatements and all sorts of things that we were supposed to put in at the out-of-pocket cost of somewhere around $150,000, and we weren't going to do it. It just wasn't worth it. We would have had to put on 600 cows, and who the hell's going to milk 600 cows? Not me. I'm not doing it. Not for the declining price, increasing input costs and declining payout. So if you're drinking milk at $1.87 a gallon, you're getting it for free. I don't know how a dairyman can put up to those, with that low price. $11, $12 a hundred. Come on, and they tear that apart. It's not like milk is. And if you're a dairyman and you're watching this, you'll understand. That 100 pounds of milk, it gets tore apart. They ain't taken apart. They'll pay you to 3.2 when they want to. We did experiments when we were friendly with a milk truck driver years ago. We actually skimmed the fat, the butter fat, right off the top of the tank, sent it into sampling, and still came back at 3.0. Yeah, 3.0. We knew it was like 100% butter fat. Came back at 3.0. So those tests, those samples that they're taking, they're jack shit. They don't mean anything. They only mean what the creamery wants to pay you. So, you can have 4.0 milk, and if they don't want to pay you for it, who are you? You don't have a laboratory in the milk house there taking those samples. Or maybe you do. Maybe the computerized robots take those samples. I'm pretty sure that they possibly do. At least I believe the one in that I was at in Belgium actually did take the butter fat. So maybe they got a fighting chance of getting paid what they're producing. But here in the United States, man, it's a bend over and take it up the ass without any lube. That's just the way it is. There were several times that we did that, skimmed the cream off the top. The toy man was the driver that we had, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't think you're getting paid for what you're doing." I mean, we were just disgusted with the creamery, and it's highway robbery, and they were allowed to do it. And without that butter fat, when you're not getting paid that premium for butter fat, um, they what are you getting? You're getting screwed. 2% milk or a whole milk. A whole milk, I believe, is 3.0. If I'm correct, I can't remember now. It's been too long, and I only remember important stuff. I make room for the important stuff and kick out the non-important stuff that I used to know. 2.0 milk or 2% milk is, you're paying pretty good money for it. And then there's the fat-free milk. They skim all that off and they make ice cream and other milkshakes and yogurts and things out of that. So, butter. And us farmers, dairymen, do get the shaft. So robots, great thing to have if you could pay for them. There's no sense going into debt on 2 robots or 3 robots or 4 robots, and it's going to take you 30 years to pay for them because you're going to be paying for the worn out robot when the new robots come in. You won't have the first robots paid for. Yes, it's less labor, but each robot, 60 to 65 cows. You're not going to make a $250,000 back in 5 years on those 2 robots. I don't care what you say. You can hire milkers to milk 60. One person can milk 60 cows. Trust me, I've done it. One man milking 60 cows, 6 milkers. It happens. Trust me. I know about these things. Now, if you're in a parlor, one man can milk 80, 100 cows easily in a parlor because it's all right there. As far as cows getting nasty for vaccines, I was milking cows when BST came onto the market, and the milk tester, she was the woman, the woman that came out, DHIA, Dairy Herd Improvement Agency. They came out and did the testing for butter fat and milk quality. And if you did really good, herd averages and stuff, you did really good. You got published in the paper, which didn't matter too much anyway. The other thing was that when BST came out, bovine somatotropin was a Monsanto product. I'm not sure if they still use it or not because I've been out of the dairy since 2011. I think it was waning off at that point. It was a daily injection, and the cows started to get nasty because every time the farmer came up to them, they were sticking a needle in their ass, and cows don't like getting stuck. So when I say that there's less interaction with cows, no matter what you do, you can't fight that fact. There's less interaction with a cow when you're not hands-on, putting your hands on their tits. I'm sorry. You can say what you want. It's just a cold, hard fact. When I was in Belgium, they didn't even get in around the cows. They came in with a feed wagon, which dumped the feed in front of them. There was an automatic manure scraper. There were 2 men running 120 cows. They were milking 120 cows with 2 robots, and the only time that they put them through the squeeze chutes was to vaccinate and do a herd check, pregnancy check. So you're either sticking your hand up their ass or you're giving them a shot. They're going to get mean. They don't like that. They really don't like that. Cows don't like somebody shoving their hand up their ass, unless the cow's got, some weird fetish with the farmer sticking his hand up their ass. But anyways, I guess that's enough of that. Maybe in some instances where you're not fully automated. I mean, there's fully automated farms where the farmer just mixes the feed, puts them in the bins, and there's very little contact with the animals other than sticking needles in them. So that's just the cold hard facts. There are less automated where you just have a robot and you're still putting feed to the animals and you're still having some contact, which I think is what Hitchton Farms was talking about. But I'm older than that kid, and I think I've been around longer, and I've been around these things a lot more as the evolution of the robotic milker. I've been to the shows and stuff. But anyway, I'm going to get to answering some answers because I've talked about that for 10 minutes. The 955 cat, please stop asking me that question. I'm ready to set a chart charge under the 955 cat and blow it to kingdom come. I really don't care about that thing right now. So if you would stop asking me, maybe it'll be put to the forefront of my mind. But right now, I don't give a flying fuck if that thing rolled down a hill, ended up in a creek, and sat there for the rest of its eternity. Okay, so enough of that. Hey Wes, I was wanting to know where you find interior kits foam from. The foam interior kits for 4450. I got mine off of eBay. You can get it from A&I, which is John Deere. A&I is the company. John Deere owns it. What's my opinion on 4955 and 8400? The neighbor loves those tractors. They are still the workhorses on the farm. Hey, just because they make a new tractor doesn't mean that it's going to get the job done any better. If you're used to running 4955s, 4960s, or 8400s, same John Ray tractor, 94, they made them both, the 4960 and the 8300. I think the 8400 came out later, maybe a year or maybe later in the year. In 95 or 96 it came out. Great tractors. The only problems they really had with those, the 8400 I think had a 466 in it. They were same engine. The later ones, they put the 8.1 liters in. Here's a guy, okay. Cows don't care that much about vaccinating, that they start afraid a farmer. I got once very needle scary cow, but she won't scare me without trench the needle. Okay, that obviously is probably a Dutch farmer. Hey, I gave many cows injections, believe me. And if you have a cow with injection or with an infection or something, and you're sticking her with penicillin every day, let me tell you something. That bitch is going to want to kill you. I'm sorry. Say they don't like it. I've done it. Maybe, I don't know. Are the needles sharper now? I have no idea. I don't think it makes a difference. Dairy cows have become dumber over the last 40 years too. They're just bred for milking. They're not bred to take care of their babies, and that's your job now. You have to either force feed or bottle feed them until you can get them onto a bucket. At least that's the way it was with Holsteins. I'm not sure about any of the other breeds. Thanks, Wes. I'm always learning more and more from you. Okay, well, I'm glad that some of the information that I have is helpful. All right, just finished your 7530 battery revival video. You were talking efficiency with IVT. I agree that they are more efficient by a long shot, but did the cost of replacing one ever hinder your decision in buying one? We were looking at replacing a tractor and going to a newer one with either a power shift or an IVT, but the tractor it be replacing is one that we use in row crops, from planting, spraying fertilizer, rolling ground, hauling wagons, and cutting hay. So the IVT would be perfect, but with as many different jobs it does, it goes on a lot of rented or borrowed equipment. So the thought of different or cheaper hydraulic oils contaminating the system scare us from the IVT. That is a very valid concern. If you're borrowing equipment from any IH guy or somebody that likes to go down to the Tractor Supply and buy that water they call hydraulic oil, yeah, hydraulic oil is like AIDS. It will contaminate your tractor. So if you're doing a lot of that, the only answer that I have for you at this point would be to use a synthetic oil stabilizer like Lucas, and change your oil very often, like 2 to 3 times a year. Yes, it's expensive, but you just have to work that into your custom operating job. I mean, if you get AIDS, you're dead. Same thing with your tractor. I don't have rented equipment. I don't rent equipment from people, and I don't rent out my equipment. I use John Deere High Guard, which is what those tractors are designed to run on. Change your filters more often too. That's another saver for IVTs. Yeah, those filters cost $100 and some odd a piece, but you can save a lot of money by changing those out, which I do quite often. The Western Star is not sold just yet. I have no money in my hand. There's a guy that was interested, and he's jerking my cord, so he can go bang his neighbor, I don't care. I'm done with him. And the next one to come in will be today to take a look at it. Somebody showed up at the farm here yesterday, which is not cool. Don't do that. You will be met with a 12 gauge shotgun in your face. You call me and then you answer, and then I will make an appointment. Don't show up at the farm. There will be trouble. I do not like intruders, and I will take it as an intrusion. So please don't do that. My question for you is, Dakota Farmer. Hey Wes, I'm really enjoying the channel. My question for you is, what advice would you give a young aspiring farmer who is getting started? Go to a psychiatrist. And if he deems you sane, then go find something else to do. You got to be nuts to do this right now. There's no money here. There's no money here. There's no money here. And I'm sorry to say it, you can do it, but get a job first, and then work your way into it. And if you feel like being broke all the time, then go ahead and be a farmer. That's what I can say. Maybe that's too harsh of a thing, but it's the truth. There's times when you think you got the world by the balls, but everybody else does too, and then the price drops. It's a supply and demand thing. Can you tell me the difference between a John Deere W or 235W to a John Deere 4990? Do they both have a crimper? Well, that's all in the header. You can take the header off of a W235 and put it on a 4990 or 4995. That's horsepower and technology, my friend. I would take the W235 over the 4990 any day. It's more comfortable, bigger cab, better ride, bigger tires, just a better machine. It's all in the header. You can buy a brand new header and stick it on a 4990. It'll run it. Let's see. My grandma on my mom's side's maiden name is Ellis as well. Well, cool. Might be related somehow. Mr. Stro08, Stro08, I guess you could call that. Wes, Wes, I would like your opinion on a topic. Cows. Here in Missouri, like all across America, we have catches, cattle prices. We have catches. Cattle prices rise and fall for no apparent reason. It seems like for a few years, prices and the low cattle cost more to feed, and other years the price goes through the roof. Why is that? Supply and demand, my friend. Corn's in high demand. People put on cattle. They put more weight on their cattle, creating more beef to sell. Price of corn goes up. They're cycling those animals out of there faster. Therefore, there's less meat, and the price will go up. It's just all supply and demand. The demand on beef, the vegan, vegetarian, left-wing, democratic, I hate farmers, they have been doing a very good job of saying that meat is poisonous to human beings, and so that also has a factor in there. What's the biggest piece of shit that I ever bought? The no rower. The no rower 240 made by New Holland. I bought that. It was the biggest piece of shit I ever bought. Say a few videos back, did you figure out what that boom was? No. It's probably just someone setting off an oxyacetylene bomb or something. I had nothing to do with it. Does watching the complete commercial affect my monies? Well, yes, it does. Watch it to the end. It'll give me some more. Could you describe what it took for you to become an established in the mulch business? 20 years. It took a long time. The mulch hay business has evolved just like anything else in time. Years ago, when I first started, you could go out and make a field of weeds and sell it, and they would buy it and grow mushrooms in it. Today, it's almost horse quality hay. You have to grow horse quality hay. No weeds, no foreign anything. It has to be clean. Not even corn stalks or sorghum stalks. It just has to be clean. Soybeans, if you get that in there and they see it, you're getting kicked out. So, yep, you're going to get kicked out. So it's horse quality hay all the way. Why don't I make horse quality hay? I hate horse people. I hate them. I think that they need to die. Just die. Horses are no longer necessary in today's society other than entertainment. They shouldn't even be called horse farms. They should be called, asshole farms. That's it. Big old pucker holes. You ever see that? Yeah, pucker hole. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. If you're a horse farmer and you disagree with me, I'm sorry. Too bad. Just hit the unsubscribe button. I really don't care. I don't think you even belong on this channel anyway because I hate you. Yeah. I've been ripped off and, you know, dickered. My equipment's expensive, my hay quality is good, and I get people dickering price with me over what? Over what? What for? What are you dickering price for? Cost me a set number. You got I'm feeding your hobby, so whatever. Ay ay ay. When you say a ton, do you mean a metric ton or a U.S. ton? A U.S. ton, 2,000 pounds, not 2,200. Ah, let's see. Oh yeah, and I was talking about lime, spreading lime, half a ton to the acre. I think I should clarify what I was talking about with that. There's a guy here that sent a comment in about that comment. It says, I did contract lime spreading for a time here in England, which surprises me because I think chalk, there's a lot of chalk there, but whatever. I guess it's like the United States. I didn't think that lime was really necessary in England for some reason. I don't know. I don't live there, so I don't know. The minimum amount we put was a ton to the acre. The usual amount was 2 tons to the acre. The most we did was 4 tons, but this was done in two splits. 2 tons put on, plowed down, then 2 tons on top uh, of the plowing. And then worked in with a disc, of course, or whatever you guys use to level your ground out, whether it's a Rotera or whatever. I'm not saying who is right or wrong, just telling you how it's done here. Well, okay. So when I was talking about putting down lime, I'm talking about grass. I'm not talking about rolling it under, working it in, or anything. Yes, you can put 2 tons to the acre down by doing that. If you're if your soil is that sour that you need to really put it on at the 4 ton rate, you're not going to make. You better have a good contract for that land because you're not going to make any money on that. I mean, we're looking at $68 a ton for lime. $240 for an acre plus the rent plus whatever you're going to grow. I mean, there was a guy that replied, but he was a little bit of a belligerent asshole, so I deleted his comments. Um, he was telling me that he was producing 252 bushels to the acre on 2 tons to the acre. Okay, so if you're going down the fertilizer plant, you're buying that lime, it's 60 some dollars an acre or 60 some dollars a ton. If you're buying it from Martin's lime or the high calcium, high hydrated lime, that really good quality stuff, you're looking at close to $80 a ton. So at 2 tons the acre, you're looking at either 120 to 140 dollars a ton an acre to grow 252 bushel corn. You're paying rent on that. I believe he was in a high rent place, so he's paying a lot of money there. And corn is what, $2.75 a bushel? Half a ton to the acre in a continuous half a ton to the acre will gradually raise your pH economically. Same thing with potash. If you go out and throw a shit ton of potash on, you're not going to get the full effect the first year. You will the second year. So if you do split applications, every year, keep putting that potash down at a higher rate than your takeoff rate, you will raise your rates and you be there economically. Unless you want to go into debt to do it, and some Yahoo decides they want to rent the ground away from you, and they'll do that and take your nutrients that you put down. You're fucked. You're fucked. Use your brain. Half a ton to the acre on hay ground every year is a good deal until you get your pH up around 6.5, 6.6. Because let's face it, you don't need it any higher than that. I have some ground that needs lime. I've been trying to get lime. There's guys. I'm just gonna have to buy a trailer and start trucking it myself. I am not gonna pay that kind of money to have the fertilizer plant put it on. I'm gonna get it. There's a quarry up the road here that I can get it from, but everybody's busy right now. So if I was possibly to get into the mulch hay business, due to the fact of too much hay and too few cows, how would I do so? Also, this primarily in northeastern industry or nationwide? It's northeastern industry. I mean, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia, New York, never Ohio, West Virginia rarely will come out because the money's just not there. It gets eaten up in diesel fuel. We used to get it down from Canada, but those guys got put out because of the diesel fuel. They went into other things. Too bad I don't drink. I just came up with a new drinking game when reading the comments. Anytime someone mentions the IH 955 loader you have, take a shot. I would be completely drunk every minute of every day of my life from the point that I got that thing till the point that I'm just ready to blow it up. So, yeah, please stop. Please stop asking that question. Um, uh, are you going to have to put an electronic logging device in your trucks? No, I do not need to do the e-log. Thank you. We had two cows blowed up, and the vet said they were going to die if it did not vent them. I have seen this process. It's brutal. Vet took a long, thin pipe with a point and poked it into the cow in the side, and a bunch of stink and goo came squirting out. Cows lived. Yes, that's antique. Don't do that. You run the hose down their throat, and it all comes out. Done that many times too. Just don't get it down the wrong pipe because then it's in their lungs and it's very uncomfortable. No Teresa photobomb. Hey Teresa, you gonna photobomb? Here's another 955. I think I'm running out of time. I'm at 26 minutes. So, anyways, I think I've ranted long enough. Like I said at the beginning of this video, these are my opinions, my observations, and if you don't agree with them, that's okay. That's why we're here. We don't have to agree with everything someone says, and your experiences are different than my experiences. The only difference is people are asking me about my experiences, not you about yours. And it's okay, especially if you're a young guy, because you know what? You better learn disappointment now rather than later in life. It's easier to handle when you're young than it is when you're my age. Disappointment can smack you like a freaking wrecking ball and could really put you down for the count. So grow a thick skin. Quit worrying about what other people say. Keep plugging on with what you're doing. If you do that, and you're going to be successful. Don't be afraid of failure, because if you are, you'll never succeed. The other thing is, I'm tired of this 955 cat. I'm telling you, I'm going to blow it up. Here's another one. Gee whiz. Okay. Here's this. Here's this idiot. I thought I blocked him. Yeah, I did block him, but wow, he's got a lot of comments, man. As to how stupid he is. Yeah, here's the question. I might as well read that at the end. 3 tons are needed if it tests 6.0. I want I want it raised to 6.8 to 7.0, which is unnecessary, by the way. We're not growing alfalfa. It erodes away, really, Wes? Yes, when you put it on top of the ground and you get a rainstorm, all that nice lime that you put on will go whoosh, whoosh. Calcium's slippery if you didn't know. Um, Get real. 252 bushel corn yields for me this year on continuous cornfields forever. Official weigh wagon test. Well, congratulations. Okay, so you put 3 tons to the acre. So let's do some math here before I'm done. 3 tons, 60, 60, 120, 200, 180 bucks. You got $180 in there. Okay, you didn't put any fertilizer down yet. No fertilizer down yet. Um, yeah, so you've got $180 your rent. Let's say I don't know where you're at. Let's just say you're in Wisconsin, where I know the rental rates are anywhere between $200 and $300 an acre. So now you've got $380. We'll just give you the 200. 380 bucks. All right. So you grew 252 bushels. You're gonna put somewhere around, I don't know, a fair amount of fertilizer. Let's just go on the conservative side of $800. Because fertilizer's not cheap. We know this, and you're bankrupt. Your equipment, all that, you're bankrupt. So keep going that way. There's somebody else that'll take up your spot. Anyways, with that being said, thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I know there's a guy that called me yesterday. He said that he watches my videos for the last 3 years, but he's not subscribed. What is so painful about hitting that subscribe button?